In this section, we're going to be working some problems that involve factoring. That's right. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of work backwards on the factoring here for a couple problems. We're going to start out with something you've seen before. So let's take the monomial 2x and multiply it by this polynomial. It's a binomial, has two terms, x plus 1. Okay, so you've seen this before. If you've been watching any of the previous videos, we're going to multiply these together. So we have 2x. Actually, what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to quite multiply them together. 2x times 1. You notice I didn't combine these two x's together. I got good reason for that. Let's do it now. And let's write an equal sign here. Alright, in this section, we're going to be given this polynomial. And we're going to want to go back in that direction. Okay, so we're given this polynomial and we want to go back. Let's use a different color here. I need to use some different colors. We want to go back in that direction. Okay, so I want you to see what we did here. We have a 2x in this term and a 2x over here in this term. And what that means is we can factor that 2x out, or you can think of it as pulling it out. Okay, we're going to pull it out. We're going to pull it out and bring it up here. And when we do, what are we left with? Well, we're left with an x. And when we this is the part that gets people. Pretend there's a 1 right here. Okay, pretend there's a 1 here. So when we pull out this 2x and this 2x, okay, because that's what these two monomials have in common. When we pull them out, we're left with an x and a 1. And as you can see here, we have an x and we have a 1. And then out here is our 2x. Okay, so you got to wrap your mind around this if you've never seen it before. Or maybe you're just refreshing your mind. All right, let's take a look at, we're going to work lots of these problems. We're going to work lots of them. So let's look at this one here. This time we're going to have a negative out front. Negative 6x times x squared minus 1. All right, I'm going to multiply this negative 6x inside times. Now you notice we're not combining these just yet. We have a minus and we have a negative, we have a minus. It's going to make this a plus. 6x. Okay. Now remember, there's a 1 right here. Okay, let's keep that in mind. Okay, I'm going to go ahead now. Write this to the first power, so we add the powers. Plus 6x. Now once again, use a different color. We want to go from here to there. See that? So we're going to be given this guy. I shouldn't write an x there. We're going to be given negative 6x cubed plus 6x, and we want to factor it, so it's going to look like this. All right. So take a look at this once again. Okay, what are we factoring out? This negative 6x here, right? Here's a 6x. But this just kind of confuses people. If I factor out a negative, that's going to make this what? What's that going to do to that? It's going to make it, you're going to have to put a minus sign here. You see that? See, that's another trick that you got to remember. You can always check your work by multiplying this thing inside, right? And then you should be getting this guy when you do that. Okay? All right. Now the next one's for real. The next one's for real. We have 3x squared. 3x squared plus 9x. Plus 9x. All right. Let's look. We have an x and an x. All right. In other words, I'm going to write it like this. Okay, I just expanded that x squared. What does this thing have in common? Well, it has an x. Let me use a different color. There's an x here and an x here. So we know we can factor that x out. But what's hiding is what's going on in 9 here. There's a 3 hiding in 9. Yes, that's right. There's a 3 hiding there. We can rewrite this 9. Actually, I'll just rewrite the problem. Well, 3x times x plus 3 times 3 times x. Okay. What do they have in common? They both have an x, and they both have a 3. You see that? So that means that we can factor out the 3x. Let's do it. So we're going to pull this 3x out. We're going to start a parentheses. What's left? Well, let's underline it. There's an x left, and there's a 3 left. Okay? So there's an x and a 3 left. Okay, so we factored it completely down as far as we're going to be able to factor it. Okay. I don't know how much more simpler I can make that. All right, we got lots of problems to work. This is probably one of the more important sections that we've covered so far. I'd have to say in intermediate algebra. I can't stress it enough that factoring is going to become extremely important, not just so much in this class, but as you go further into math. Okay. All right, I'll see you in the next video.